Hello, hello, and welcome to another very special Broadcast.gg Scrim night. Tonight we are going to see a match between Team Illuzion and Team Starboard. And of course, I am joined by my very talented casters, Labosco and Rapture. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing great. Another day in a row getting to see Illuzion with Rapture. And Rapture, man, 2 days in a row that we get to cast together, which is always fun.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I like the consistency, man. Just it works out, and I'm gonna get ahead of you, Ark. I am also doing decent. But no, I'm doing great. No, I'm doing great. Glad to be back with you
Just
guys.
decent?
Especially No, better than decent.
Okay.
That's with Labosco again. We're seeing Illuzion again. See, after they took on VG yesterday, so they do again today against Starboard.
Yeah, let's jump right into talking about Illuzion. Looks like you guys obviously are very familiar with them. What do you think we're going to see from them tonight? And do you think it's going to be a mirror of what you guys saw last night?
I don't think so. I think that Illusion's going to maybe change a little bit. They were really experimenting pretty hardcore yesterday with the changes to Sombra. I don't think we'll see them do it as heavily today. I think that they'll maybe go a little more standard with what they think is a little bit better with the meta right now. At least that's what I think, Rapture. Is that what you think as well?
Normally I'd want to be contrarian just to make it spicy, but yeah, I gotta agree. They pretty much flat out said that they were running Sombra strat to see how it would work. And not only that, but they took a map and they tied a map doing that. So I would like to see what they can put down when they're running maybe more serious strats or ones that they're a bit less experimental, but still they found some, a little bit of a success there with Sombra. So I would like to see how Starboard can stack up to either that or a more standard composition.
Yeah, I think they'll probably just use it at times when they think it actually is beneficial. Like they're not gonna just hardcore just throw her in everywhere they possibly can, sort of like they did. They kind of shoehorned her in to some comps too, and it was definitely felt like it was shoehorned too. So at least they know. That's the important thing.
It seems like Sombra's a character that you can't just use all across anywhere. You gotta look at her niche that she already has and extrapolate from there. Figure out how you can get those specific maps. It's definitely not a composition that you're gonna want to just use classic dive was for a long time. Just throw that down 2-2-2, no big deal, and you win every map.
And speaking of Starboard, let's take a closer look at them. Have we seen them before? Do we know anything about them? And do you think they're going to have what it takes to put the brakes onto Illuzion and toss them overboard?
Well, I think that this should be a pretty good one. The way that they run their comps is they like dive and death ball, and really both of those are in right now. It just depends on the map. So they haven't been together quite as long, but they have played each other before. So there is a little bit of history between these two teams. They were actually commenting about it prior to getting everything going here. So just that alone, I think, makes it more interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what they can bring down, especially as we move into our first map, Illuzion. It seems like they definitely like to play on control, just go for those scrappy death matches, and of course we all love to see how those break out in the first map of the series. And I haven't personally seen Starboard just yet, but considering we saw a different shade of Illuzion earlier, I feel like this is still a pretty fresh team on both sides for the two of us.
Yeah, and I think one of the differences we're seeing here too for Illuzion, Voxless is getting the start here today in the scrims, so a little bit of a different change here from the starting tank that they have. Jerry 23DR was their Winston and main tank yesterday, so a little bit difference there. And it looks like that Zany's going to stick with Diva and not play Sombra all day today, Rapture. So
yeah, I would think that maybe we'll see Sombra on 2CP or, certain hybrid maps, but Control doesn't seem like Sombra really is effective as she could possibly be on those other maps, especially on these more open stages like Illuzion, Garden, where there's so much openness. It's hard for Sombra to really get in close safely and not get absolutely obliterated as she tries to build up ult chart.
Well, the doors open here on Illuzion Towers. Both teams make their way. Very similar comps. Only difference really is one side we have the McCree, and on the other side we have the Pharah. We saw Party Boy play some really good Pharah yesterday, and looking at least early on here for some good opportunities, getting some damage out to start off this fight.
Yeah, Party Boy was definitely a self-starter yesterday, was able to just build things on his own right there, getting the party started with a nice boop off onto Baziban. With that lowered numbers down, both the Tracer and McCree, the damage output is completely mitigated here on the point. That's going to be a very clean sweep here for Illuzion.
So Bonzi Bon is going to be able to go eat some bonbons, as has to wait for the respawn to come in, as it is a good start here for Illuzion, and they started off pretty good last time as well, and then adjustments were made by VG yesterday, so now it's just a matter of being able to sustain this.
Yeah, there's still not too much on the line right here as we build towards the 20% mark. Still a good amount of time left, but as we know, Control definitely loves the snowball, and Zumba might be able to get that going even faster down the mountain with a pulse bomb, but Party Boy gets shut down early. The cops show up, get to clean things up there, and now with that less DPS on the point, the rest of the tanks are going to go buck wild on and scatter around. It's going to be Starboard picking up the kills very quickly on the kill feed. Might be able to steal back this point just around 40%.
Bonzi Bon saying anything you can do, I can do better, switching from the Tracer over to the Pharah and really making the impact felt here early on as they do take back control of the point. 44% though, not a bad start for Illuzion though, Rapture.
Definitely not a bad start, and they have a bunch of ultimates still waiting around, so they can go right back in and try and reclaim this without too much percentage lost. Still, they have to factor in Starboard has also built up a bunch of theirs. Definitely Ben is going to be a huge benefactor with that high noon. Gonna be able to do a bunch of kills, and as we go up onto the point itself, a Sound Bear is gonna try and stop things from both sides to keep themselves safe. But before any ultimates come out, so everyone's waiting it out, a barrage will be thrown down on point by Party Boy. Doesn't connect. Zany throws down a Diva Bomb and another one to boot, but it's Snuggles who gets two, and Ben picking up a headshot, and things seem like they're going the way of Starboard so far.
Well, the rocket barrages were the ultimates that I was really curious to see who would get the most out of it. Bonzi Bonds wasn't quite up yet. Didn't really get anything for it, and a lot of ultimates used on the side of Illuzion, and they're still not able to get back control at this point, and still being able to hold on to their ults, even though the meter is building here for Illuzion, as there goes Party Boy does get Snuggles, but still, things going in favor here of the team in red. They just got to flip the point back.
Yeah, Starboard in red. They're winning. It seems like they're winning the highs and lows of this fight, but they aren't actually getting the completion. So this is all perfect for Illuzion. Not much to worry about there. They're just going to keep eating away and maybe hope for Starboard to burn another ultimate or two as an overkill attempt to get this point. But as we hit 99%, it seems like everyone from Illuzion has been routed indefinitely. Just a one stagger or two. No, a Baby Diva and a Tracer left. Zumba close to another pulse bomb, so once he goes down, yeah, that's going to be another quick cleanup there, or maybe not quick, a very slow and pedantic cleanup for Starboard, but they do get back on the board.
And it's weird because, like, it's a fight that they won. They had the fight won the entire time. They had the numbers advantage, but they let the point flip, and when you let the point flip, that can really cause demise for your team. They've got to be able to hold this now since it's already at 99%, and Ben with a Deadeye, it doesn't get anything.
Doesn't get anything, and Party Boy's still holding on to the barrage, so they might be able to get a lot more of that. Finds Zumba though, and that might be a little bit of a cue to get up onto the point. It seems like the tank's just going to kind of butt heads for a little bit here. Zany's going to pop an ult, but right on the point here in Night Market, that ultimate is horrible on the point, so you pretty much practically get nothing, and indeed he doesn't. Another Diva Bomb being thrown down with these bubbles and the bomb going down. There's nothing getting hit except the barrage from Bonzi Bon. Gets two, finds both supports, and with Family Man definitely being a family man, gets rid of Party Boy. Says enough of that. It is your curfew. And it looks like they should be able to hold on. And now that they're winning this longer fight, we've seen that they want to pronounce fight earlier, and now that the tables have turned and they have control of the point, they're trying to stretch this out as long as possible.
Yeah, they're stretching it out. They're still keeping control. They pop the Valkyrie here to keep everybody up. Party Boy comes in with that ultimate, but doesn't really get anything for it. Did get Snuggles, but it's not going to be enough. The rest of his team wasn't really there to follow up on any of the other damage, and Family Man just continues here. And they're going to take this now, and I don't think anyone gets there.
Yeah, Voxelis got knocked into the pool just off cooldown. That's a super unfortunate loss just before the fight really needed to continue into overtime, and instead, yeah, we just see Starboard walking away with it. As we move on to stage 2 of Illuzion, it's going to be Control Center, so hype to check out where we're going here, going a little farther in the sky here, Labasco. Any anticipations going into stage 2?
Well, looking at where we're at now, I think that, I mean, Party Boy was showing fair. I didn't think he was going to stay unfair. This really isn't a fair map. So he's going to switch to the Genji here. I think that can maybe make a little bit of a difference, but we're seeing here Family Man going to the Reinhardt. They're going with the Junkrat. So you kind of got a straight-up dive going into a Junkrat, and the Reinhardt, it can be a little bit tough here. Just, it's all going to depend on how these tanks can play against each other.
Yeah, that's going to be very dicey for Illusion. There's so much pick potential and burst damage coming out from the Roadhog and the Junkrat, all hidden behind and squared away behind the Reinhardt shield. So to break right through that, they're going to use as much momentum as possible, but they can't get through the front line. They back off. Illusion, while doing so in their retreat, loses Voxless, so they're just going to easily, Starboard is going to easily just walk on, slowly but surely wins the race here. They're going to be the turtle to the Illusion's rabbit, and yeah, Illusion will be left without a hair on the point and without the incentive as well.
Triple tank's so hard to go into with that sort of dive comp that they're going with, unless you can focus down that shield really fast, or at least find one of the supports if you can jump on them. But when they're able to stay in this ball like this, it's hard to dislodge it, and they're showing that right now. It took them a while to get the point. They finally flip it, but still, it's working out really well for them, and I think here that Illusion might have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, Zumba Roomba you saw there, trying to do a lot of work, but there's so much weight on those shoulders. Unfortunately, Tracer could not support it. When we move up, you're seeing how much room is being taken up here by Starboard. They're just trying to make sure they can hold this choke point and then throw down the Riptire here, which is flanking from behind, but not everyone went up to it entirely, so it's only going to catch Voxless at the perimeter of the choke point. Nevertheless, still a pickup of a kill. That's still going to slow things down, but a flank by Zumba Roomba is going to try and get a little bit of uneasiness back into the backline here to give themselves an opportunity to push up on Starboard.
At the very least, Rapture is going to force them back and allow them to take this fight in an area that's maybe a little more advantageous, where they don't have as much spam going into them.
And with Zumba Roomba landing the pulse bomb, Kiwi is out of the fight. Bonzi Bomb puts down Sin, but now that we're in this graviton, Sin's not there to put any kind of orb, harmony, or discord whatsoever into the fray. And now we're seeing a pretty even trade, but Zumba Roomba grabs two with some nice plays here, just making a huge annoyance, buzzing in the ears of Starboard, with Voxless also helping out. Just Kiwi and Ben left on the point, and they're going to get picked up one, but the Transcendence should be able to seal a deal there, and indeed, Illusion will be able to get onto this as a few more staggers come in. So again, we're seeing the stagger from Starboard, but this time it's not as long as we saw previously. It will be Illusion taking it back.
And I think they're okay with this. You know, you staggered a little bit. You didn't really waste any ultimates, though. You didn't force anything for the most part. The maybe Sin's Zenyatta Transcendence maybe wasn't needed there towards the end. They probably still have it because they had the numbers advantage, so you do lose out on that defensive ult, so you can maybe take advantage of it here.
Oh, Earth Shatter cracks the surface but doesn't land any clean targets. And now another Riptire from Bonzi Bond finds both Zumba Roomba and Party Boy. Can't get any better than that, than maybe a 5-man or 4-man, but getting all of those DPS right there is pretty crucial now, as there's no one left to body block damage-wise. The Roadhog for sure, the Junkrat, and that should be oh man, actually Illusion Strafology throwing down the barrier. I think this fight has already been lost, so unfortunately that might have been a waste with this Lucio, and now Illusion's trying to keep it together, but Pirate King says no. With the help of Ben and Bonzi Bond, they're really putting their foot down on point.
They knew they had to build up ult percentage, so they thought maybe they can try and regroup as this is going on, but it doesn't work out, and they end up just losing a defensive ult. The Transcendence is up at the very least, though, here, Rapture, so they still do have a defensive ult to maybe create something out of this, but now they're back in that position they were in earlier where they're stuck at their choke.
Yeah, you're right, and they don't have the... Illusion's gonna have to group everybody in and try and rush up, but to have that sound barrier would get them through that choke point much easier and quicker, and without that tool, they don't have a coalescence either. It's gonna be very hard to get in. They're gonna have to use the Diva, just take up, but they have to get onto the point. Someone has to touch it here. It's gonna be either this Winston or the Genji jumping right up, everyone crashing up onto the point, and Bonzi Bon again stifling that push, finding Zumba and Party Boy, isolating the two of them for a second time in a row with that Riptire, and getting our Zany's mech. So that's huge value of Bonzi Bon. Pretty much, that was, you can't come back from that. Fortunately for Illusion, they're going to drop it 0-2 here to Starboard on Lijiang Tower.
A very good first map, I think, from Starboard. They made the correct changes in order to counter, well, not really even counter, but just, they ended up playing basically the same comp as what Illusion was, Pharah v Pharah, and they just won the Pharah battle and ended up winning that map, and then here, They just the triple tank is so strong on this map here on Lijiang Tower. The Junkrat's able to do so much damage, as you saw there on the play of the game as well. So it's definitely a comp, at least on that particular map, where you almost have to mirror it in order to dislodge it or counter it hard.
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely the triple tank, and of course, this triple tank having so much burst advantage against the dive means they really have to be cutthroat. The divers have to get their targets within a split second, otherwise they're going to get hooked. They're going to get caught in a trap. They're going to get sucked in by a graviton. They're going to get swung at by a Reinhardt. It's really hard knocks for a diver that's in the backline for too long, and I feel like Illusion found themselves in that situation pretty frequently, and that worked out for Starboard because the longer these fights go on, the more triple tank and even quad tank benefits from the fights. Dive wants the fights to end early, and we just saw long fight after long fight, so Starboard was able to take advantage every single time.
And the other thing too, Rapture, is when you look at how that specific triple tank comp works, like you said, a lot of pick potential, but it's also a very enclosed areas are good for it. Where was the one fight we saw Illusion win? It's when Tracer was able to flank around, force the team back into a more open area where you're not just spamming through chokes. So then you have more of an advantage to try and take advantage of the area around you to make your dives work. So it's just a map type or a specific map that just favors that triple tank comp more than it does the dive.
Yeah, it definitely didn't help Illusion that they went into Control Center for Stage 2. That was pretty much a gimme there for Starboard, who was already running the triple tank with his Reinhardt in the front line. So it worked out for them. And that the Reinhardt, Zarya, Roadhog, Junkrat core of the team seems like, when you get into a map like the Lijiang Control Center, or even to some degree, as we talked about yesterday, Night Market, which seems to facilitate both dive and triple tank, you really, things start to pay off very well for your clumpy death ball meatball composition like you're talking about. It's chunky and you're working in those narrow areas. The divers don't have a lot of room to breathe and they get choked out very quickly.
And we're gonna be jumping into our next map real quick here. This next one is gonna be Route 66. So obviously a little bit different style of map. What do you think we're gonna see from these guys? What kind of comps do you think they're gonna bring out for map number 2?
Well, I think we're going to see dive once again here, Rapture. I mean, if yesterday what we saw was any indication, and from what we've seen for the most part, and from what we know about Illusion, is they like to run dive anyways. Mm-hmm. But I'd imagine, too, from Starboard, just because there's so much more verticality to this map and also just more room, even, horizontally as well. So there's just there's a lot more room for dive to work. So this is a map that I think Illusion will be much happier with, especially with what they like to favor.
I agree. And at the same time, though, I think Starboard will, like we saw in Lijiang, still kind of run a tankier composition against them, at least on defense. On offense, I'm expecting, much more mobile composition. But on defense, I wouldn't put it past them to run the Orisa Roadhog core for a tankier composition on defense on top of Big Earls. So that's pretty standard. First 2 picks for a team, and then you can throw down either a diva, just give yourself a little more mobility. We want to go full and just Bastion, something crazy like that. But it gives you a lot of flexibility just having the Orisa with the Roadhog right behind it. It's already a big menace there. Then you have some other tools to work with on defense. But instead on offense, we're not going to see that from Starboard. I'm not even sure where they're going to go because they're still using a Symmetra, a Mei, and a Torb. And if they run that and make it work, that might be the new meta there.
Yeah, and if they do that, I will give them every credit in the world.
Builder offense.
Yes, if they do this, I would be entirely shocked, but I think Family Man's tipping their hand a little bit by staying on the Winston here, so I think we'll see a dive comp of some kind, and I'm all right with seeing a Widowmaker, so that's definitely something to look out for. Create some space for your dive comp with Widow.
Oh, but they're not seeing an Illusion hiding in the train car, gets the jump on Starboard, and already the bodies are falling. Kiwi, Pirate King, and Ben already getting minced like some meat through the grinder. Zumba Roomba and Voxless, Party Boy all jumping into the kill feed, and that should be enough. Yeah, right there. Illusion, they're taking the element of surprise and getting a free 30 seconds and more off of Starboard as they have to go back to the drawing board for just a little bit, but not too much loss, so they're already breaking back out of spawn.
They're very smart. I like this from Illusion, though, to get back. You take the advantage that you created for yourself and now play a similar normal style defense that you would see and try and win out. Very good Ana bomb right there, too, by the way.
Yeah, can't miss that one. And I feel like we saw some pretty solid ones from, I believe it was Sin or someone else in the previous set we saw yesterday. So I like that, even though Ana is not a character that is struggling to stay some degree meta in this current version of the game, still landing these fat purple bombs here and making it an easier cleanup for the rest of the team. And it's working out well here for Illuzion as they win another team fight. But despite that, they only have a 2 ultimate advantage, so they're not too far ahead, but it should be enough to continue to hold pretty stalwartly on defense.
Yeah, Ana works a little bit better with Lucio. I mean, you can try with the Zen, but just with the fact that the burst damage can't always get through shields and things, AoE heal helps definitely out here, especially when you get stuck in a spot like this. And of course, if you keep landing these bio nades, you can stick with the Ana.
And Family Man figuring out who is the most important target, gets rid of Sin first, and then Vox was getting thrown down by Snuggles. In the backline, this Widowmaker, Ben, putting down solid damage. Those linear shots going to help get rid of Zany as he pops out of his mech. Snuggles also getting rid of the Lucio. And now complete leverage here for Starboard as they move through Illuzion. Nowhere to be found as this first checkpoint's approaching, but they're moving up on the outer left side with 5 ultimates in their bank, Labasco.
It's very impressive, though, to see this from Starboard. They seem to make adjustments in-game very well. They know the targets that are going to give them their win condition and what they need to do to take them out. It's been impressive from them so far.
Ooh, twin Diva Bombs, neither one finding their marks, and now Blades also being thrown down. Bonzibon and Party Boy, but Bonzibon hits the ground first, and though still, neither Blade getting any blood, drawing nothing. It's going to be everybody else finding the kills, and a bunch of ultimates being used, but not finding anything. 4 ultimates, 0 kills there, Bosco.
Well, like you said, they had a lot of ultimates to use, and Illuzion just utilized them really well. This is forcing the hand to here. Bonzibon is going to switch to the Fair. They know that there's no hit scan to maybe deal with that, so there is verticality to this map like we were talking about before, and Bonzibon showed a pretty good one on Lijiang Tower, so we get to see it again.
Ooh, Ben moving over to the Reaper, so they're trying to get a little more aggro with this offense, but gonna be possibly peeled away, and chasing for kills might not be a huge factor. Needs to get to the Death Blossom as quick as possible, but it's gonna be Bonzibon showing him how it's done on the Fair still, picking up 2 kills. Voxus and Party Boy will go down. It's gonna give Ben and the rest of the team some much more room to push up, and now that Ben has no reason not to push, he's putting out a lot of damage in this backline. Strafeology is a huge victim to that, and Family Man will steal the kill. Nevertheless, I'm sure Ben is feeling pretty happy about that pick as the payload does finally get to the first checkpoint, and it does help having all that damage from those twin shotguns from Ben.
Yeah, Ben came in there a little bit late to get some of those kills. It was really Family Man and Bonzibon combining to do most of the damage. They were some very good consistent shot calling must be coming from their team because they focused down targets together really well. Most of the targets, you started out with Bonzibon doing some damage, then Family Man jumping on them, Tesla canning, and then there would be another rocket to finish it off. And that's very hard to counter if you don't have anything to deal with the verticality by Bonzibon. So still no hit scan being seen.
Sound barrier thrown down by Strafeology, gonna push right up back onto the point as Sin takes out Kiwi. Continuous volleys from Bonzibon upstairs. That's gonna put Voxus up into their face, and meanwhile Zany finds Pirate King too close to the ground, and unfortunately not having enough altitude to get away from that mech. Even Strafeology getting some revenge on the Bonzibon there. And you're right, that was actually a good point. You know, yeah, it was mostly Family Man and Bonzibon. But also remember, you know, with Ben in their face, they're dealing with that. You know, the Diva has to be careful to have the Matrix ready for whenever Reaper's there. So yeah, Bonzibon's getting all this free damage. There's not enough to get and challenge that verticality like we were talking about. So that double whammy of Reaper in their face on the ground and far away Farah and Bonzibon all the way. It's hard to deal with both sources of damage at once. Zany, though, finding a little bit of a solution there with the Diva Bomb, and then the res from Pirate King's going to erase that movement. But a Blade now trying to get farther. Party Boy looking for more. Still, these Blades are really not finding their marks. It's hard out for these Genjis to continue to get kills, but it will be Pirate King at least be the only one to find the end of that Blade.
Really good use of their ultimates by Illuzion. That's one way that you can deal with what you're seeing here. The Diva Bomb in particular. There's not a lot to hide here. If you're up in the air, you can maybe get away if you have your E, if you're the Pharah, but it's still really hard to do if that Diva Bomb's in the right spot. So good use of ultimates here, but now they only have one, and this is where advantage goes back to Starboard.
So Kiwi has an opportunity here to possibly pop the Transcends a little early. It may not even be necessary. Bonzi picks up 2 kills, but they want to see if they can pop something on the side of the defense. Instead, they just go for some raw kills. Voxus is waiting on the Primal Rage, so they're sustained for the second checkpoint. they get something to maybe bait that a little early, or maybe they might just be forced to use it. Nevertheless, Bonzi taking the spotlight for a few seconds there, grabs the double with the barrage and making it look easy.
Yeah, it was a very good barrage too, well timed. Knew the defense ultimates weren't going to be able to do anything. Uses the right ult at the right time to help get his team through. And you saw too, becoming a little bit passive after they were out of ultimates too, as Illusion. They sort of gave the card a little bit of free push, weren't as aggressive because they knew they didn't have a lot of tools to use.
And Voxless will continue to hold on to this Primal Rage. 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock here for Starboard's offensive attempt through Route 66 in the blue. Illusion setting up shop on the defensive end. They're getting close now that Zumba has a 76. You try and hold as much distance as possible between these two teams. We have sound barrier, and then in response, a transcendence here from Kiwi.
Good early transcendence to keep everybody up. It keeps the Voxless Primal Rage from really doing the damage needed, and they're able to just continue with it and snowball forward. Party Boy has switched here to this Pharah to try and counter Zumba, though, on the Soldier, helping out a little bit, but Snuggles getting some revenge.
Yeah, Pharah might be getting too close for comfort towards that payload. The wind's going to get in their face just a little bit here. Meanwhile, Ben has the Death Blossom, so potentially once they get rid of Zany's mech, that could be a Q to hit Q. A Diva Bomb being thrown down. Another one. Zany gets 2, but Snuggles gets 3. I can do that. Well, you can do it better. And that's going to be unfortunate there for Illusion. Forced to use the Transcendence to continue some more sustain on the point, but Snuggles with 3 there, making it look very dominant here for Starboard, as they now have a bunch of kills under their belt, but they don't have enough presence on the payload. They're just going to let the defense kind of straggle their way back onto it. They have to reestablish some footing on the payload itself, and Ben hitting Q finally gets gets 1 kill on the Diva, but only finds Party Boy with that Q.
It's really tough that Zen ult used when it was. It might not have been needed. It could have been used to stop all that damage Ben was doing before and after he used his ultimate.
Now overtime ticking away here, less than 4 meters to go on the payload. Pirate King grabs the res on the Bonzi, getting him back into the air. Now some more shots. It's really just a Genju's left family man. Swats him away, but then it's rival Winston throwing his body onto the board. That's not going to be enough. The payload will be cinched there, and a Diva Bomb just for good measure. And Snuggles will even get rid of that Doomfist as the time does tick away. It'll be 3 points on the board here for Starboard, but no time remaining.
I think Illusion, when they go back and look at this, they'll say, you know what, if we maybe just did a couple things a little bit different, didn't get as passive as we did when we were holding in the second point, we might have had this one. I mean, I get being passive to try and bait out the ultimates, but you have to bait them out first before you get passive, because really all they did was push themselves into a corner and then allowed for those ults to take advantage of being pushed into a corner. So it's something that they can definitely take advantage of if they look at it next time. I mean, there's no doubt that their aggression can be something that pays off.
Yeah, I think they might just want to be a little more proactive. I mean, we saw how long Voxless was holding on to like a Primal Rage, for example. And then the changing around at times, kind of losing a little bit of ult charge there for Illusion. So we'll see. They had at times maybe a couple moments of ult discipline, maybe not being at its best yesterday against VG, and I don't really think that's their problem here in this set, even though we still haven't seen too much from either team. But it does seem like they are being a little hesitant in terms of how they're going into these fights, or not engaging at all, and just letting Starboard kind of walk all over.
Yeah, exactly. And the big thing here too is you were able to push them to no time. So the very least they're going to get they're going to be. No matter what, there's going to be a push attempt for Starboard if they get all 3 for Illusion, but you can have a better time than them. You get that extra minute, and that could be all the difference.
4, 3,
Very much could be. And this is, it's interesting, we're talking about this, the hesitance a little bit, maybe the patience, but it was Illusion who did that like surprising train car push here, and instead is Starboard who is setting up in the backline. They don't have the Orisa Roadhog. They are going for the counter dive, and you were mentioning earlier in the last set maybe just a better idea against like the triple tank. They're going, go for an identical composition. But now we're seeing they're going for a dive composition to try and counter the one they're facing on their offensive attempt here. And with Illusion getting, it seems like a little bit of a kill feed advantage. They have Party Boy in the air taking a bunch of shots down. Don't have to worry about the Zenyatta in the back. Zumba is taking care of both squishies and chunkies here. This payload for Illusion is getting very, very quickly. Has some grease finally on those wheels.
Well, Party Boy won a fight that you don't normally expect a 1v1 between a Pharah and a Widow to go in favor of the Pharah, but that's what happened. So Party Boy winning that from afar, too, obviously some help with the damage there, but that just kind of solidified everything, because now you don't have that Widow pressure. You do still have the Genji to take care of, but it's a lot easier to take care of a team when you don't have to worry about your head getting clicked by the Widow.
It does help when you don't have your head getting clicked there. Oh, Bonzi Bon with a great reflect on the Zumba Roomba as he goes for that shot. Party Boy getting back up with 2 with the barrage. Meanwhile, more of a dive there from Bonzi Bon, trying to get the rest out of that blade. Doesn't find more. Now finding upstairs here with the help of this Winston. A few more going into the cavern. Gets rid of the Mercy. Diving for more. Gets rid of the Widowmaker. It's a slaughterhouse inside of the cliffside. And then moving out, Bonzi Bon finally getting more blood he was looking for on his blade in the backup.
Those dash resets are so fun to do when you're in enclosed space and you know you're going to hit your next one, and then you can just throw your shuriken again. So really good work from Bonzi Bon to get this, and good patience too from Starboard. They waited for everybody to come back. They knew they'd have one more chance to stop them before this first point, but you're still in a pretty good position if you're Illusion. You still got some ultimates to work with, and you got a couple coming up, and you know they can do the scouting here with Zumba Roomba's ult.
Meanwhile, upstairs, Party Boy still pretty low on ultimate charge, but being a nuisance nevertheless, drawing the attention of the Winston. And meanwhile, Ben gets resurrected there by Pirate King, and now might be a threat for this Pharah, who is now actually dealt with by the Winston. He gets very, very low. And now Bonzi Bon gonna back up a little bit, realizing there's been some room lost with Zuma Roomba as Pirate King tries to retreat, picks up, and a headshot, gets 2, and finds one on Kiwi, continuing to put pressure on Big Earl's sign, but everyone retreats out of the way, almost gets Bonzi Bon on his retreat as well, and now a Diva Bomb, the pursuit deals double damage, Family Man cannot get out in time, and even Bonzi Bon with the left click, not even needing the sniper, does clean up Bonzi Bon, puts him into the graveyard, and his payload again gets going.
It's amazing how just one character can make such a difference. Zumba Roomba with those 2 headshots on a fight that looked like it was lost, but you had the spawn advantage too. So as those headshots are coming, your team comes back, and now you got a chance to push here through.
Ooh, a Diva Bomb might say no to that, just as you're bringing up Party Boy and Strafeology fighting the tail end and the explosive radius of that Diva Bomb. So now we have Sin, meanwhile, with the Transcendence, or Zany will find Bonzi Bon, but the fight is taking place mostly on the payload itself. Family Man will realize that and gets put down for the count. Zany and the DMAC and Snuggles as he pops out of the cockpit. Now just at the 33-minute mark exactly, Illusion does finally make it to the first checkpoint.
Well, Zany said, you know, I don't have my self-destruct that I'm going to use yet, but I can still use my guns, and I can still use my micro missiles to finish people off, and that's just what happens. They just couldn't capitalize on the self-destruct. You took out the air superior, you know, the Party Boy in the air, and you think that's enough, but you still got to stop Zumba Roomba in behind along with the tanks in front.
It's definitely going to be another thing to deal with, having these Widowmakers raining down damage from afar. And Snuggles, though, getting rid of Voxless. Meanwhile, Party Boy holding on to this barrage. Just be careful. A Diva Bomb thrown down by Zany, and now he has to worry about this opposing Diva Bomb, but only, unfortunately, Zany will be getting the kills here. Snuggles won't find anything, and Zany, we even get the 4K, getting rid of Snuggles and Family Man after the 2K Diva Bomb. Zany really going ham here with this Diva, but making it just probably not too difficult, barely lifted a finger to do so, and now forcing the rest of this defense back.
Zany's team's enabling Zany to do this damage, but the other thing is too is Family Man goes to try and take out Zumba Roomba, successfully does it, but it takes so long that he can't help out his team with the rest of the dive, and when you can't have the dive coordinator like that, things can go wrong, but now trying to use the Dragon Blade to change that.
Strafeology was trying to res Party Boy. I believe he got the catch, but Ben headshotted him out of the air. Bonzi Bon with the dash resets, gets the mech, gets Zany, and then Ben signing on the dotted line, getting rid of Party Boy as well. Minute and 20 left on the clock here, Labasco. Illusion struggling to get through the second phase of the map and don't have too many ults going into this next fight.
And this is the spot really where if you do stall on the second point, it's usually near those doors. And that's sort of where they're at right now. It's been a grind for them for the most part throughout this map, but they have been still winning some of the fights after the ultimates go out. So a chance here, but that's not a good way for it to start. Party Boy going down.
Oh, even Kiwi finding the other end of a bullet too. There's a scramble up on the high ground here, Lobosco. And Strixology trying to stay alive as long as possible. Meanwhile, Voxless harassing on the point. Zany losing mech, has to D-mech off and bomb on the high ground, but there's no one there at that latitude. And now, unfortunately, there's going to be very few left of Illuzion on the point. Now we're going to approaching the 30-second mark. It's almost extinct out here for Illuzion.
Yeah, they got to back up right now, Illuzion. I think if they stay here, I know they want to stay close because time's out, but if you get picked here, it's almost a guaranteed loss.
20 seconds left. Strafology has the Valkyrie. Sin on the Transcendence. They have a way to get in, but will they find the kills? Lobosco, you think they can do it?
I think that they can. They do have the trans on the other side. You got to be able to force that out first if you want to have a chance.
Oh, a Diva Bomb upstairs. Rez is coming up from the other side. Ben catching the Mercy as he tries to get to cover. Snuggles D-meching Zany with a D-mech of their own into the Diva Bomb combo. And now with the Blade, Bonzi Bond finding the mech, trying to get rid of the Diva. Family Man, though, taking away the spotlight, getting rid of both the Monkey and Zany. And then Ben finding Sin as he moves forward up on the high ground with no one left to contest. Starboard taking away yet another map. They're up 2-0 here, Lobosco, with a win on Route 66.
That last fight was definitely enabled by the DBS. Ben was finding the headshots that were needed, and Bonzi Bond was able to build up another Dragon Blade really fast. That Dragon Blade at the end, I don't think that they expected that to be up by Illuzion, and that's why you saw the early Transcendence. Unfortunately, if they started out maybe with the Valkyrie ult and waited a little bit longer at that trans, maybe they have a chance, but they had to dive in to get to the cart, and they kind of just lost players in the end, so they kind of just had to pop everything to even have a chance. They just in a disadvantageous spot, especially with Ben not even getting contested there at the end on the high ground.
Yeah, it's hard to have the scramble on the fight on the point itself and the fight detracting from the true source of evil, the Widowmaker, 200 meters away, dealing so much damage that you don't really have anyone there to deal with. So unfortunately for Illuzion, they couldn't find a solution quick enough. And you really, I think a lot of the time, you just kind of have to run your own Widowmaker and make sure they're clicking heads. And we did see the Widow versus Widow 1v1s, but it really wasn't enough for Illuzion to really take things back against Starboard.
And Roomba Zumba is, or Zumba Roomba, I said it backwards. Zumba Roomba's Widowmaker isn't bad by any stretch or anything. It's just that Ben was just was streaking a little bit more. I mean, they were both very streaky with their shots. I mean, there was times where we didn't see anything happen from Ben, and the same thing from Zumba Roomba, but streaky at the right time is also something that you need to have happen, and that's definitely what happened there at the end. Ben hitting some crucial shots down the stretch, and when you have that Widow v Widow, that's sometimes really all that it takes for a fight to get swung in your favor, and if the rest of your team is doing what they need to do.
So we talked about the Widow matchup. Let's talk a little bit more about the Pharah matchup. I know we saw a little bit of Pharah from both sides. Who do you think was coming out ahead between those guys?
Well, without a question, it was Illuzion coming out ahead. I mean, they sort of forced the Pharah switch there eventually, and I think that's also part of why you saw Ben go on to the Widowmaker to deal with that. I mean, it didn't start off well for him because he got focused down pretty quick, but eventually his team was able to get more focus onto the Pharah and then force the switch. I mean, that's why you saw the Genji pick eventually happen.
Yeah, I think at some point it was really just Party Boy alone on the Pharah because of that switch, like you mentioned, and we saw consistent barrages coming from Party Boy, constant damage. It just seemed like, unfortunately, with Pharah, you don't have that actual payload presence. So when the fight really starts, going the other team's way, it is hard to swing it back. Pharah doesn't have that quick X factor. You kind of, even though you have those one or two shots you can get to really turn away a fight, it's hard to like hit, a 2-piece on one character, 2-piece another character. You have to be very, very accurate to get such a heavy swing as Pharah. She kind of just builds on what the team's already has, unless she has a barrage. So without the barrage, having the clutch factor, unfortunately, can be hard to come by. So despite Party Boy, I would say, excelling on the Pharah at times, it wasn't enough to really change the tide of the fight for the most part.
And when you have the Widowmaker too, it makes it so much harder to be a Mercy. And I think that was one of the big things too, is your Mercy's kind of, if she's using her space, if she's holding space in the air, that's a salivating Widow on the other side that's going to see that happen. So your Mercy kind of has to play on the ground almost a little bit more and has to use Guardian Angel a lot more to try and get around. And that doesn't always work. And I think that was one of the things too, that Starboard did a good job of focusing the Mercy when they saw the opportunities. And you take out the Mercy, the Pharah doesn't have a lot that it can do.
Yeah, we're already jumping into sorry, we're gonna be jumping into Volskaya. Cut you off there. Sorry about that. What do you think we're gonna see here on the Volskaya? Obviously a 2 CP style map, so maybe a little different, but do you think we're gonna see like a Pharah again on here, or do you think they're gonna switch it up a little bit and go a little bit more dive?
I think this is the opportunity for the Sombra, but I wanted to hear what you were going to say there at the end.
Oh, I just wanted to mention that, you know, you're right talking about the Mercy targeting, but specifically punishing Mercy when she goes for res, when she went away from cover. Ben was doing a really good job of sniping out a Mercy that was trying to run away from a Diva ult or trying to res someone that already died at the beginning of the fight. So you're right, like not only just getting rid of the Mercy, but punishing her when she was making her largest, I guess, maneuvers on the fight and taking advantage of when she was most vulnerable. So that was definitely a big factor in the fight. So good job pointing that out.
Yeah, you remove the impact of Mercy if when she's trying to make an impact, you take her out. So it's one of the nice little switches though to Mercy, because now you don't have to see her all the time. But I thought we would see Sombra here, but I was completely wrong. We don't have either team with Sombra right now, Rapture.
Yeah, this was a map that I remember when Sombra like came out, you'd started to see Volskaya played in like Apex, and especially on this 2 CP, but especially Volskaya, it seemed like she was very strong with all these health packs you could use, and Anubis also came in as a pretty common map for Sombra. But now that she has these changes, neither team committing to Sombra, and yeah, I'm a little surprised by that. And I'm not super surprised by Pharah though. I think even though Pharah can take advantage of some long sightlines, she doesn't have great opportunities to get back into cover. She kind of really has to commit to get to those long sightlines, so it's a high risk, high reward, or sometimes not high reward effort to go for Pharah on this map, and that's probably why we're not seeing it.
Not only that, second point, she's just doesn't have the same effectiveness as the first.
Exactly. So both teams kind of jockeying for position here on the point here, the Bosco point. Hey, we do have on the offensive attempt here. Both teams did switch, so now in red it is Illuzion, Starboard in the blue. So Illuzion in red have been slaughtered here as I bring that up. Ben with a 3K for a nice team kill there, just like Swiss cheese. Illusion's been left with a lot of holes now that the limp back to spawn.
And his positioning right now is something that I want to point out, because it's not a positioning that I've seen a lot from Widowmaker. He's kind of on the wire that's hanging off of whatever the machine is on the back and just sniping from there, and it works as pretty good cover. You have to make a concerted effort to get Ben with where he's at. So going around to the right side, maybe this is a good way to attack here for Illuzion.
I think it's either like a gas line or something like that. Like, I love that position. I don't think I've ever really seen that before.
I haven't either, for sure.
Yeah, that was nice. Fight has moved over to the back corners of the point here. Party Boy will get rid of Ben. And now both monkeys trying to push away these divas out of their faces, but they're going to be getting right into their faces. A bubble on top of that diva bomb will only cover everyone but Voxless, unfortunately. So we're going to start here some ticking as the contestant comes through here on point A, and it's all looking red. Illuzion completely turning the tables here on Starboard. No one to be found on defense, and they should be able to get points.
Well, I think that was one of the things that helped them out, was going around to the right this time. They saw Ben's positioning. They knew he's not going to have as much room. It's going to be much closer shots to try and take, and you can shield him a little bit better. Forced him off the high ground. Playing on even ground with you makes him a lot easier to dive, and that's sort of what snowballed everything in, and now they got this chance here to go onto the second point with some ults.
Yeah, it's that first 2 CP push. Will you get it, or will you be shut down completely? A sound barrier and a diva bomb thrown down. No kills just yet. In the backline, Ben doing a lot of damage. You're going to be a problem, but it's going to be Party Boy diving right in, going to try and get rid of that as soon as possible. It's Voxless getting rid of him instead. And we have Kiwi with the Transcendence, but he's going to be taken away by Voxless, who pushes him off the map itself. No more Transcendence for you. And now back up onto the point. Zumba Roomba harassing the Mercy, who pops Valkyrie to get up into the air. Still low HP, going to be far away enough, though, to stay alive. Snuggles losing the D-Mech, and he's going to be bubbled up. That D-Mech is not going to get anyone with the bomb. Still on the kill feed, a little bit of advantage here for Starboard, and now going to push farther.
Yeah, and continuing through this fight, the ultimates worked out for a second there, but they're not even going to get a tick here. Illusion eventually going to be forced back here.
Yeah, Starboard preventing even a single tick from being taken, so good job to them, but still a lot of time on the clock. We're about to approach the 4-minute 30-second moment of this fight, but I feel like we even saw I felt this. I remember feeling this specifically on Hanamura last night, where we were at like the 4-minute mark, and then I looked again and there was 30 seconds left. I was like, what happened to all that time? And I feel like that might happen to here again on Volskaya. 2CP just eats away time. It goes somewhere without you even knowing where it goes. It's like socks after you've worn them. You only have like one sock left. You have no idea where the other one is. That's what happens at time with 2CP.
I do want to point out, though, that was one whole fight that basically took up all that time. Much more better regrouping from Illusion here as they come back on with a sound barrier.
And indeed, Party Boy off of that finds Kiwi. Sin in the back line, throwing down a lot of damage. A Diva Bomb looking for someone, finds Family Man. He unfortunately not wiped up enough to get away from that Diva Bomb. And now Party Boy going to try and seal the deal. Gets one on the dash and the Pirate King. Finds Bonzi with the blade. And no one else left on the point. Everyone waiting it out. And Sin actually using Kiwi using a Transcendence here after the blade. Help his team get up onto the point. Maybe the patient, he wasn't actually in position to really get the most out of the Transcendence while the blade was up. But he still used it to help usher his team onto the point. And now Illusion, even though they got at least somewhat of a fight there being had in the first portion of that second instance, they only get the second tick, or they don't even get the second tick there actually.
No, they don't, but they've been forcing out ultimates. That's the good thing. I mean, Kiwi had to use that trans. That was a very good trans to use, but now you don't have it for this next fight. And I think, too, Illusion has recognized the biggest thing they need to do, try and dislodge Ben, even though he's not on the Widowmaker anymore. Dealing damage from Soldier up top on the high ground is very tough, and Ben, I don't know, maybe heard me and was like, well, I'm just going to go away.
Yeah, that was quite the timing.
but that has been sort of their strategy here on this map so far as we're in this pause is they recognize where a lot of the damage is coming from. Ben on Widow or Ben now on Soldier. You dislodge that Soldier from the high ground where the Soldier wants to be, and then you can create some opportunities to take out the other teammates. You know, recognize the carry is never a bad thing to do.
Speaking of trying to steal away an advantage and sneak up from behind, Zumba Roomba was about to do that to Kiwi as we were at the pause. Zumba Roomba is sitting right up on the side there, trying to go for a heavy flank onto Kiwi. Might have to worry about Pirate King, who's also lingering below Kiwi there, but Zumba Roomba nevertheless is hanging out and immediately flashes up onto Kiwi with the Primal Raging Winston joining him. It's going to be straight biology and the right click onto Kiwi. And then Bonzi Bon, meanwhile, on the other side here for Illusion, getting close to a Pulse Bomb. Bennett switched over to the Reapers. There's a lot of damage coming up until the DPS are thrown down to the ground. And it's a very, very hard and cold floor there, Lobosco. I would not want to be thrown down onto that. And it looks like the defense is not going to be back. They won't be able to get on. Family Man is a centimeter away and is a little too late. It will be 2 points picked up there by Starboard.
I think it's a little bit of a different fight if Ben's still there on the Soldier up top because, yeah, you do have Zumba Roomba sneaking up to try and take out the Zenyatta on top, but it's a lot harder to do if there's a Soldier on that high ground with the Zenyatta, so your protection was pretty much gone. And I think it was just Ben's response like, man, I need to be able to do a lot of damage fast. And why go to the Soldier when the Soldier's not going to be good in a close quarters fight? So switch to the character he thinks can do the most damage. So I commend Ben for the switch to the Reaper. I think it was well thought out, just a little bit of an unfortunate circumstance for Starboard. But here's the thing, they took off a decent amount of time, 2:25 only on the clock, so you're still in a decent position to try and have a bigger time bank here going into the second round.
I would definitely say it was a double-edged kind of sword decision. You know, neither one was a guaranteed like win in these fights. Like you stay the Reaper, you stay the 76. Both have their drawbacks, both have their positives. So, yeah, it's a hard, especially switch on the fly. There's very little time left there. But I would say Ben tried to make the most of it. Unfortunately, just the offense could not get together in time. Everyone just kind of got routed one by one. And especially all those squishies kind of found their fates very rapidly without enough room for counterplay. So now it is up to Starboard, who are in the red on defense, to see what they can do. They've gotten 2 points. Can they hold Illusion to less? Illusion, I would say, has definitely been keeping pace with Starboard so far, like we saw yesterday against VG, but they haven't been able to catch their stride and get ahead just yet.
They haven't yet, but this is a map that they can definitely do it on. You know, full are not unheard of. Guy Industry .1. I mean, they're tough, but it can be done. I like to seeing here a little bit something different from them as well, going with the Orisa Hog combo here with Zumbarumba on the Soldier. There is a lot of damage that can be done with this comp.
And Strafology has the cursor glitch, and I do too. It is annoying, and I'm glad I'm not the only one, so that's nice to see.
Yeah, that is. I'm glad that I don't have it because that
It's
would
awful.
drive me insane. I don't know
so
how you're
annoying.
doing it right now.
So I feel like I might have to reinstall the game. It might have to happen. It's that dreaded PTR. I tried it out, and all of a sudden, Bridget cursed me, or Brigitte. I have to rewatch the Origin video. Maybe I have to rewatch this fight as it's already going and passing me by here. Family Man will pick up a kill there into Party Boy and to Zany with the help of Bonzi. And we've already gotten that first tick, a very rapid push here by Starboard, taking no prisoners. They've already passed through, but maybe they've bit off a little more than they can chew. They've gotten a few of their team routed, but they have the advantage still on the point itself, and that's what matters. And Zumbarumba on that 76, along with Strafology, are going to fall right back and try and bolster themselves and fortify on point B as Starboard is rushing and just biting at the bit, chomping at the bit there to get over to that second point.
The only thing is most of their team have long spawns, so unfortunately for them, they have to wait for the regroup. This is really where I think the Sombra would have been strong, because where were they kind of set up? They're set up right where the big health pack is. Even though you don't build ultimate off that big health pack, having that extra healing of being able to just go to that big health pack could maybe made the difference there for Illusion.
Illusion now, after picking up one kill there with the help of Party Boy, who's in the junk right now. Party Boy, man of many colors here, many different parties. And every time I think of Party Boy, I think of him like just ripping away those wind pants from what is it, Jackass, and the other show from MTV, like that Party Boy, like love that guy. And he has those pants, you can just rip them off. They were so sick in 2002, but I don't think we're seeing any of those right there. The windbreakers, that's what they are. Got it, finally. Ben breaking through the wind, breaking through the sound barrier, and through everything else except Zumba's visor, but Pirate King's gonna be found first. Party Boy, though, with a big Riptire, finds two. Snuggles even getting on the board. Everyone's hitting Q and trying to get on there with another high score, but Snuggles only posts one. Ben does get rid of Zumbarumba. Now Zany will be found in the back. It's 3v1. Even Sin unable to get there. It's a huge stagger from the defense. Illusion just unable to put on more than one body at a time until the Nano Genji gets on, dashes through Ben. This could be enough for their defense to regroup here.
Yeah, it looks like it might be if the Genji can continue to get the kills here, but the D.Va eating up a lot. They've got to help focus the D.Va down here, but Zumbarumba is going back onto the supports coming in. Zany back in here, though. This could be maybe the difference, especially with this trance to keep him up.
It's only going to last for so long. Will the kills come through afterward? No. Instead, Bond will fall back. Snuggles actually does go to Voxa, so okay, Sin's like, all right, that's one, let's go right back in. And Bonzi Bond finding Sin after that, so they're gonna go and push that advantage. Will the D.Va Bomb try and put anyone down? Nope, it'll be Snuggles not getting anyone else after that. Bonzi Bond will get the kill onto the blade. Snuggles with the mini missile barrage onto Party Boy. And now the defense, and it looked like they had a chance to hold on to the point. They are again staggering like we saw moments earlier. No one left onto the point, and at 44 minutes and 30 seconds, Starboard will complete onto point B, and now we'll be moving on to another round.
Well, there'll be no partying with Andrew WK after that one for Party Boy, but his team still has a chance here. They still get another push. They don't have a lot of time. If you can get a full 2 here in the short amount of time you have, you put a lot of pressure onto the team attacking next, even with the fact that, and I think we might end up having to pause here. I think Strafology kind of ended up getting lost here. I know he was talking about having issues, so
yeah, he's resetting to try and get rid of that glitch, which I don't know how that's going to work, because I had this glitch when I booted up earlier today, and then I booted up again, and it's still here. I think I might have to reinstall it. I don't know what this glitch is, but I feel like I'm not a fan. It's not doing much for me. It's not a feature. I don't like it. Sometimes when my I'm really moving my mouse around, it kind of tries to follow my mouse, so it leaves the middle reticle, and it tries to like struggle and pull, but it's like magnetically forced to stay within the center, but it's pulling so hard to follow my mouse, and it's quite the sight.
It sounds like quite the struggle. That's for sure.
I got. By the way, an Overwatch League update here. Fusion have actually, I think they just tied it up. Map 4. We're gonna go to a map 5.
Oh wow! So that's very big implications for that and for
That's
Overwatch League, especially when you look at Houston has looked so dominant here early on in Stage 2. So good for Philadelphia Fusion. They're showing some really good stuff off here in Stage 2. But Dive is sort of something that favors them for sure. So I think they're happy about that.
I think everyone just kind of got memed on by that's how we do it in Philly and the visa things and missing preseason, and kind of forgot this is a solid roster. This is one of those gatekeeper teams in the season where like they're below that top 3 or 4, but you're not going to get past them. They're a very strong team, and they've kind of usurped Boston from that position. Boston kind of had that Stage 1 gatekeeper position between like the cream of the crop and everybody else. Philly seems like they're kind of taking that up against what seems like, right now the strongest non-all-Korean roster in Stage 2.
And I think, honestly, the longer that you get Carpe and Shadowburn playing together, the better it is, because those two, regardless of what's around them, are highly talented DPS players. And I think there is a lot of talent around them, too, compared to when they were on FaZe Clan.
Big agree there. As we move into round 3, as Illuzion did post the lower time, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. They will be going first here on offense in the red.
Attackers incoming.
And like I said, they've looked really good here so far, Starboard. So wouldn't be Illuzion has a chance here to make something happen and really force Starboard's hand if they can get both points.
Illuzion going for the full rotation out towards the left, but maybe not committing entirely to it. They actually hesitate a little bit, and the team's now separated outside. Zumba Roomba, though, nice pick onto Pirate King. That'll have implications for the rest of this fight, but it doesn't seem like too much room has been given up here by the defense. In fact, they are letting the kills come to them. They're not chasing. Kiwi in the back, getting 2 or 3 there as everyone tried to fold up onto him. And that peel from Kiwi, and then finding out the kill as well. Very solid play there. And Illuzion quickly going back to the drawing board. They still don't have a lot of time to work with, now approaching the minute 30 seconds.
And honestly, I felt like that was a push that could have worked from them if they just stayed together and focused targets together, because you took out the number 1 priority target first in Pirate King. But then you kind of, who's the next priority? Is it the Soldier or is it the Zen? And that's, I think, where they got stuck.
Definitely agreed there too. It didn't help that the team was already separated, looking for, chasing their own individual kills. So of course you're not going to be able to coalesce and coagulate on top of each other and get that target. Family Man and Snuggles again, getting rid of Party Boy and Voxless. This is Illuzion just really doesn't seem to get. They're having a hard time building that acceleration to hit their top speed in these fights. It seems like they're losing to like an individual pick before the fight really breaks out, and with just over 2 minutes in this third, their second offensive push, they really don't have room to be losing a DPS going into a fight.
It was a super clean one too, and to illustrate that, Voxless in the first fight here on this second attempt here from Illuzion, he didn't know, should I go Soldier or Zen? He first jumped on the Soldier, then jumped on the Zen, and that kind of just led to his demise.
Sound barrier by Strafeology. Will it be enough to push up onto the point? They're going to force themselves onto point A, but Ben and Family Man have the answer. A Diva Bomb on the point. Zany finds Pirate King. Still an advantage as Ben upstairs has the visor. A Genji Blade from Party Boy looking for more, but he's going to distract Party Boy, and then the visor outlasts the blade. Oh, great timing there by Ben, just waiting as long as possible with the visor. And no one is left on the point. Point A is vacant from Illuzion players. Now 4 minutes and 30 seconds. That's all they have so much time to push point A. It's going to be a lot for Illuzion to hold fast here on defense.
Illuzion scattered by Starboard so much in that last fight, and it just makes things so tough, and you don't have anybody to conceal or to mitigate that damage coming out from Ben's visor. And like you said, it was just a great timed visor too. Saw the opportunity. Most of the targets, I mean, even though it was a fight that was fairly even, the Dragon Blade Genji, you either have to go on him right away and try and take out his visor as soon as possible. Trying to bet on the deflect is probably a losing bet most of the time. But I don't know if he might have lost that cooldown because he did have some damage on him too, so maybe wasn't going to have that chance.
I think just Ben realized that once the Genji was not going after him initially, he was like, all right, I'm going to hold for another few more seconds and just outlast. Even if I don't get, you know, a specific kill onto the Genji, I can at least outlast the Blade and kill whoever's left. So nice job by Ben too, because he situated himself up on the high ground, like far away. So Genji would have to commit to killing him. Like he'd have to make a choice, and Ben just kind of chose the response depending on what Party Boy did. So thankfully that paid off for him, and at that point the fight was still pretty won. Like, it was a long shot for Party Boy to get all the kills necessary to win that fight, but Ben really just made it even more difficult with the waiting visors. So now not only do they have 4 minutes and 30 seconds, but Starboard only have to get 1 tick out of 3. So a huge ask here for Illusion to hold on defense. They're trying to keep themselves mobile, but they have both an Ana and a Zenyatta on defense. Single healers on this defense.
Yeah, that can make things really tough, but you go with what you think is your best comp here, I think, is what they've decided to do. Whatever your best players are for each role, so I think that's what they're trying to do here. But Family Man with that start, this is the start that they want, and they don't even need to get it here. They can dry push if they want and just hold for ults.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for. They seem like they're nonchalantly moving around, but even without the ultimates, I mean, they're finding the kills here. The defenses, they're not sticking together. They're staying all separated from one another. The tanks are going in one by one and giving their bodies away, sacrificing themselves to the Overwatch gods. And now they've just left the supports left in Voxes. Voxes is out by themselves. There's no one actually on the point. Yeah, everyone just kind of got separated again. And Starboard really just, I guess, scrounging together some change and picking apart at the leftovers. And they didn't even need all that time that was given to them. So now they're up 3-0 in the set after a not super long, but at least going to a round 4 bout on Full Sky.
It was so odd too, because neither of the supports came down when you at least have to go onto the point there at the end and contest. It doesn't matter if you're trying to stay back because you're not trying to get yourself killed and to keep up your Winston, but you got to get onto that point. I mean, at the end of the day, the win condition for the other team is get onto the point and get 33%, and they did that.
Well, that's, you know, I mean, I touched on it. It was just, you know, they have single target healers, which is a big problem having 2 of them. But you're right, they don't have any point presence itself, which is a big problem, obviously, when you have to hold against just 4 minutes and 1 tick to go. But neither Ana and Zenyatta, they don't want to be on the point, so they needed to have one support that at least could thrive in the scramble on the point itself. They needed a Moira or a Lucio. I feel like either one of those could have worked well. Lucio Moira, or Lucio Ana, or Moira Ana, something like that, just to give themselves some kind of sustain. And you're right, have a support join the team and get in with them. Unfortunately, it seems like Illusion is both getting separated by Starboard and on their own accord. Like, they're giving Starboard what they want. They're giving Illusion, they're putting themselves so far away from everyone that no one can really respond to the call of duty and save someone when they're in a bit of trouble. And you can see right there, Illusion, their supports are doing what they need to do, but when things get really dicey, they can't get in there and try and salvage it. They have to do with what's left, and unfortunately, in a 4v2 situation, and Ana and Zenyatta are not going to survive very long.
And here's the thing: I mean, you have the Ana, Zenyatta, and the Winston. So even if one of your supports goes down there onto the point to at least get close to the Winston and try and stay together, at least you're giving yourself a fighting chance there at the end. I mean, it's probably a losing battle anyways, but I think it was still a winnable battle. Your Winston was still doing a decent amount of damage. The burst healing is probably going to heal through whatever was going to be output from the 2 players that were there. I think it was a Tracer, and I forget who the other character was, but you still have an opportunity to at least force the fight out a little bit longer. So get off that high ground and one of them go down there and at least make things close. If you're the Ana, maybe you get a good Bionade there, and then your Winston can finish things off. At least give yourself that chance. Even if it doesn't work out, even though the probability is so low, you still have to create that the percentage is still higher than if you're not on the point, right? Because it's 0% if you're not on the point, 1% is still a percent.
Very true. You speak the true there, Lebosco.
So a very strong showing so far from Starboard, and we haven't asked the most important question yet. we're going to be moving on to King's Row, a hybrid type of map. Do you think we're going to see the pirate ship out of Pirate King and his team, or do you think Illuzion might pull that off better than the team that you would expect it to do it?
Well, I can't go against the team that has the King of the Pirates, so I'm going to say that Starboard, if they decide to do it, it's going to be great, and it's going to be glorious, and there's going to be a straw hat somewhere, and I'll be happy. So if it happens, sure, I'm cool with it.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I would say for King's Row, I actually don't expect any Bastion. I feel like that's so Junkertown, man. Like that's so, you're pretty much sticking with that. The reason why that works on Junkertown a lot of times because it's hard to get that flanking right onto the Bastion. He can hold these super long sight lines for free, and he has like 360 degrees of shots to go for. Whereas King's Row is super narrow, super claustrophobic. You can get the jump on him. You can peek on him. You have corners to hide behind. And you even have a little bit of verticality, just a little bit. But again, I said this yesterday, great thing about King's Row, you have the upper hand sometimes with that high ground, but it's not a guarantee. It's not abusable. Still, I think Bastion you'll see him, but he's not super common. And once you lose the payload on King's Row, especially in the second phase of the map, sometimes it'll be hard to get back onto it. And Bastion, if he's not on the payload, really is somewhat useless a lot of the time, especially on King's Row. So we'll see. I would like to see a Sombra though. Sombra could be landing fat EMPs in these narrow, corridors and pathways of King's Row left and right.
Yeah, this is definitely a map where Sombra is very viable. Just like I mean, Volskaya is as well, but neither team elected to do it, which is fine. It's still no Sombra still works, obviously. So it's not a necessary thing, but it's something we can do. And obviously the straw hat behind me agrees with me and would like to see the Pirate King happen to make his way onto the cart. But yeah, not exactly the map where we expect that to happen, no doubt.
Oh, it is. It'd be cool. I was thinking about this, like how some maps are like always daytime, always nighttime, to maybe have like different versions. Like I would love like a sunset King's Row, where it's not just like middle of the night, but maybe you get like it just rained and it's sunset or something. I don't know. I was maybe trying to spice it up. They do the holiday ones, and so it's like snowy or something. But I want more.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. I really would. I mean, the night skyline of King's Row is pretty nice, though. I won't deny that. I still think that maybe the skylines of the two cities that you in New York and me being from Chicago, I think those are still better. But it's really
without
a
doubt.
skyline.
Without a doubt, yeah. So I want a New York City map, and it's just you gotta get on the subway and sit on a delayed 1 train before you can get onto the map itself from spawn. And we're trying to keep it realistic out here.
Yeah, Chicago. There's too many bad ways that you can go with that about a map that But Chicago has some great architecture that could definitely be exploited in maps if they really wanted to do it. So just like New York, could make a fun map for sure.
We should pitch it to Blizz. We want these New York, Chicago maps. This is an outrage that they aren't in the game already. How does London have a map, but we don't have a New York City map? Like, come on.
I just want a Chicago team. That's all I want. That's it.
Okay, that's fair.
If they give me a Chicago team and no Chicago map, that's the compromise I need to make. I'll make it.
That's fair. At least I have a New York team, despite having quite the name. But at least we can abbreviate it, and I think we're gonna see as we push up here. Now we have Starboard back in the red, so they're on offense. They're gonna try and abbreviate this point A fight. They're rushing right up, forcing Illuzion back into this back corner here, into the pocket. And again, a very swift push, which maybe not hasn't gotten the kills entirely, but they've already gotten 2 ticks. Party Boy and Zumba Roomba, though, are finally cleaning up the kills. Actually, I'm not sure if they got that second tick. It doesn't look like it's like right there, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll see if it goes away.
65.9, they didn't get it.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ. Party Boy, just in time, going off with that Junkrat. Look at that. 4% away from a Riptire right here, so I can't fathom pushing into this as offense. He's going to have this Riptire ready to go.
Yeah, that's the one thing with this comp that you're seeing go against them is when you have that triple tank and you have a Junkrat on the other side, you can build up Riptires very fast, and that's exactly like you said what's happened here. And Riptire, we know how much of a game changer that one is.
Family Man and Kiwi, though, they do have the Reinhardt and Moira ult, respectively, Earth Shatter and Coalescence, so they can have something to push up with here as they're going right up. Party Boy is throwing down the Riptire with this Reinhardt. He's swinging away. He was nano boosted, so he gets caught out by the Earth Shatter, but Party Boy picks up the slack, gets 2 as the Earth Shatter was trying to be confirmed on there by Starboard. And Illuzion now looking much stronger here with a team kill within the first minute and 30 seconds here on King's.
Yeah, very impressive from them. I think Party Boy, too, his Junkrat is really good. We haven't been able to see too much of it. We saw a little bit of it earlier, but we saw how good he was on the Pharah. Now we get to see his Junkrat, and now another ultimate that you can combine with the Junkrat up as well in the Graviton Surge. So plenty of ults, and of course Earth Shatter. We know how a Fatty Shaddy can change a fight as well.
Yeah, Family Man had a nice Fatty Shaddy on a nano boosted Reinhardt, but once he was going in for that Earth Shatter, Riptire caught him the counterplay. Here comes the Graviton, and that's being confirmed by Zany, but where are the kills? Party Boy's the only one to find Ben. A Visor by Zumba Room are going to try and clean things up and salvage the rest of these fights. And I believe even a thrown down, I might have heard the grinder, but it's Voxless who has the actual grinder swinging away that hammer in that back corner. That's a nightmare there for any DPS caught too close to it. And again, another reset here. And I believe, yeah, the second tick was taken and stolen away there by Starboard, but Illuzion is still holding on to defense.
I think they're okay with that if you're Illuzion. I think your defense has been really solid. You still have Earth Shatter, you have Transcendence, and guess what? You've got another Riptire too. So sitting pretty, and you know, you got Coalescence and you've got the Dragon Strike here, but that's asking a lot from those two ultimates.
The Coalescence goes in. Family Man blocks the Earth Shatter, but Snuggles was ahead of the shield, so he doesn't get knocked down. Pirate King found by the right click, and again, Party Boy with the 2K from downtown. The Riptire fighting Snuggles and Bonzi Bon. And Party Boy has just been stifling every single fight that looks like it'll be secured by Starboard. It's instead Illuzion still holding on defense. With 30 seconds, we're about to approach it. They got to hold on even stronger here. They're very close to losing point A.
And there's Zenyatta, and Sin didn't even have to use his ult, so you still have in the back pocket the Transcendence that you can use on your defense here in order to have a chance.
Hey, Ben has the arrow, but yeah, they're going to probably look for the Dragon Surge combo, the Graviton and the Dragon Strike, but no one's in position for it just yet. Finally, here it comes. It only gets Zany. Sin trying to hold on with the Transcendence. Ben does get rid of Straight Biology. Now a Graviton as well as an Earth Shatter. Everyone's hitting Q. Family Man does help get a kill onto Zumba Room with the Earth Shatter pin combo. Party Boy for 2 again. Every fight, it's 2K or more from this Junkrat. And overtime ticks away. Starboard is stunned here, Labasco.
Yeah, really good. Party Boy. Okay, Andrew WK is thinking about partying with Party Boy now, that's for sure. What a good fight. What some good Junkrat play, but also just good use of their ultimates. I mean, the Earth Shatter didn't hit, but it didn't matter. There was the good follow-up with the Riptire after it by Party Boy, so the job was done. As long as you're getting value out of that, you don't need to get 4 kills, 5 kills with your Riptire. You get 2 kills, that's usually enough, and that's what they got. I mean, 94% is still a lot of the point to try and take, but you've put yourself in a position to win this one, so Illuzion has to be very happy, and Triple Tank worked out pretty well for them there. Or the Junkrat and the Reinhardt combo, sorry, worked out really well for them there.
Yeah, maybe we can chalk it up again to Illuzion just trying out new things in these scrims and seeing what works, and you know, if that's what they're doing, that's okay. But I wish we saw more, you know, chunkier compositions, either Triple Tank or the Death Ball, or just, you know, even the Reinhardt, you know, Junkrat combination coming out for them, because when they run this kind of composition, it works out for them. When they seem to run like either the Somber comps or the Dive comps, they're struggling a little bit, but they seem way more comfortable on the compositions that are facilitated on maps like King's Row. If they can see, I feel like if they're playing this, you know, not for trying out experimental compositions or stuff that they're uncomfortable with, then maybe they do want to look at running these chunkier, burstier Death Ball compositions behind the Reinhardt shield more often.
It just seems like it's a stronger comp for them, and not to say that their dive, I mean, that's what they pride themselves on, is their dive, but it's Starboard's proving it that it's very hard for them to dive on some of the comps that they've had, and it feels like, you know, their dive is just missing like one element to it to be a really good dive, because they definitely, the ability's there, that's the thing.
Definitely. The ability is definitely there. Potential is there. And you know what? It's a win-win for Illusion. Either they can work out with the composition now that seems like it's doing well for them, or they can continue to experiment in scrims, which is, a great way to go about it. So Illusion seems like they're hopefully at least getting the most out of these scrims for sure. But right now, trying to get the most out of this point is continuing to be Illusion. It looks like they're actually going to get the first kill out of that with Zumba Roomba, picking up 2 on this Roadhog he switched over to. Now finds himself deep behind enemy lines here, behind this Reinhardt, but gonna put him down as Family Man unfortunately turns his back to the hog behind him. An Illusion, not even a scramble on it. They got complete control of that point, and that's gonna be over. King's Row is completely done here.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's even going to have a chance to get back, and making sure is Voxless that won't happen. That was some impressive play. And I wonder, too, Voxless looked really good on the Reinhardt. I think he was a little more comfortable on Reinhardt than he was on the Winston, so maybe that's another thing for Voxless too, is maybe getting a little work on that Winston, because Jerry 23DR was the one we saw playing Winston for them yesterday, and obviously not playing in the game today, so a little bit of a different main tank look might have something to do with it, as well as why maybe there wasn't as much synergy as you usually do.
Well, they didn't get wiped entirely. They still picked up a map like they did last night, and seems like they definitely got another solid learning experience. Is Zany going to get the legendary card?
Yeah,
No.
50% energy is 50% energy was deserved, though. That was definitely the card deserving, though.
That's one of those cards where it's better to not get the votes at all than to get so close,
Yeah, that's very true. He at least got the 5, though. He got the 5.
Yeah, and good job by Starboard. This is a team that I've seen for the first time here in Broadcast.gg Scrim Nights. I've been doing these for myself at least a few months now. That's the first time I've seen them, so
right.
Good looks to them. And I like seeing teams consistently and seeing them grow between the weeks, and we even see Illusion between the days. I would like to see them come back too as well.
Yeah, I think that for Illusion, that the biggest benefit for Scrim Nights is not just the scrimming itself, but the next day, the day after, the couple days after, if you do 2 in a row like they did, the couple days later when you go back and you take the VOD and you watch it. That's, I think, when you can get the most value out of what you get from Scrim Nights here. So that's VOD reviewing is more important than people realize. Let's just put it that way. Stats are nice, but VOD reviewing, that's when you learn. That's when you really learn things about your team.
Yeah, definitely agreed. Ark, any last words here?
Well, I have to say, I've seen Illusion. I'm more familiar with Illusion, so I wanted them to win. But at heart, I am a pirate fan. And honestly, I hate to say this, I haven't even watched One Piece. I'm just straight up pirate fan. So really, and this is not
boo on you, sir. Boo on you.
I know it's on the list, but it's a big chunk. There's a lot of One Piece to watch, so it's gotta come in at the right time here. But this is not going to make any sense to you guys, but the people watching the stream who can actually see my webcam, behind my green screen is my pirate flag. So I totally knew they were going to win the whole time.
This bandwagoner here now, going from I don't watch One Piece to look at this pirate flag I have, coincidentally.
I'm just a big fan of pirates. Like, sometimes I pretend I'm a pirate, and it's a good time. So... I'm happy they won. I didn't have any other thoughts. I was just like so happy. I realized I was going to get to show people my pirate flag, and I didn't think about anything else I wanted to say about that game. So I have nothing smart to say right now. Do you guys have anything smart to say about what we just saw?
Well, the first thing is that my straw hat behind me that I can put on my keychain and my 2 volumes that I have that are sitting out of One Piece are not impressed. That's the first thing. But this was it was another good Scrim Nights. I really was impressed with what I saw tonight from Starboard. I thought that they had some really good synergy. I thought that their tanks played really well, and their DPS especially. I think Ben is a really stellar DPS player and showed us some really good hit scan stuff today. And their supports, when you're not talking about the supports, that usually means they're doing pretty well. And I would say that was the case for Kiwi and Pirate King. I think that they played some pretty good. Because again, if you're not talking about them, it's sort of like refs. If you're not mentioning the refs, usually they're doing a good job. If you're not mentioning the supports, they're usually doing good. And their alts were pretty on too. So.
Oh, literally just as that happened, Fusion just beat Houston 3-2. Wow.
Oh wow! So
Look at that on the tiebreaker.
Is your stream like 15 seconds ahead of mine? Because you keep calling these like.
Oh, am I
Like,
spoiled for
right
you?
before they show up. Well,
Oh,
you're spoiling
no,
like the
sorry.
next 5 seconds, so not anything
I
crazy.
got that. I got that superior connection for sure. But yeah, it's been a good cast. I think that's it for tonight, though. So unless you guys have anything else, I think that'll be it for now. The a great set between Starboard and Illusion here tonight on Broadcast.gg. Of course, definitely give a follow to the channel. Check us all out. Doing these every night. I'm sure you'll find another scrim tomorrow night. So definitely come through. We'll see you next time. And yeah, have a good night.
Peace. See you guys.